Hey, econ students. I just wanted to record a quick Blackboard navigational tutorial for you because sometimes Blackboard can be confusing. So, I've got it set up here on Student Preview. So this should be exactly what the economics class Blackboard site will look like when you log in. Okay. So in fact, when you log into the economics Blackboard, I think the calendar is what will load first. So when you look at the calendar, you'll notice there's things already populated on there. For example, on August 17th, there's already an assignment due. It says syllabus. Okay. I've gone ahead and pre-populated all of the due dates through the first quarter at least, so you can go in and look at those things. They are just populated as generic assignments for the most part. So for example, September 30th says here that we're taking a quiz, the 3-1 quiz over GDP. Okay, so that's all I have in there. Doesn't really tell you much aside from that. There's actually more detail in the new FriarNet, so I'll pop over there real quick. If you look at that calendar, it has a little more to it. Where you can click on things and see kind of more of what's going on over there. So the Blackboard calendar is still useful, but that other one is probably even better. Anyway, I'm going to keep going here. Your very first assignment, though, in Blackboard is the syllabus. I'm going to hand you a copy of the syllabus on the very first day. And what you'll do is you'll read it, and then you and your parents will sign it, and what I'll have y'all do is actually turn in that signed page, and this is where you turn it in. Okay, I'll go over more of that, in class when we talk about it. So let me close out of this. I'm sure you guys have submitted things in Blackboard before, so I won't dwell on it. Anyway, that was the calendar. Let me continue on. Announcements. Okay, I will actually post a lot of information in announcements. Okay, and they will all go to you as an email as well. So you'll see those periodically. It is important that you check your email, but you can also follow up by looking at announcements. I'm going to skip Hawks for a second. Okay, we'll go over here to teacher info. So if you want to know a little bit about me, go ahead. Course information. All right. Oh. Click here for the syllabus. Okay, so I will actually post a lot of documents in here, but they're really links. So if you want to open the link, you just click on the link. It'll download. You can open it. Okay, so there it is open. You can read the syllabus. That part that I was asking y'all to upload to Blackboard is the very last page. You do not have to print this. I'm going to hand you a copy of it on the very first day of class, so that you do not have to print anything. All right. I've got it right over there. Okay. Anyway, you will print this and you will then use Cam Scanner, or if you have an iPhone, the Notes app is a really good PDF creator that you can then upload back into Blackboard. That'll be your first homework grade. Okay. Then you've got this Hawks information. We're going to talk a little bit about those things in a second, but then you've got a little description of what macroeconomics is. So those are kind of generic things. This Hawks stuff, this is important though, okay? So our textbook this year is online, and along with the textbook is an online learning system, okay? So here is some information on how to get started with it. Okay, it's actually pretty straightforward. In fact, I think this stuff here is probably more confusing than what it actually is. If you'll go to, actually, let me go back. You can read through this. Okay, so read through that, that's fine. If you actually click this little button over here in the menu, Hawks, it'll take you to the Hawks site, and if you follow those instructions, everything will be clear, okay? There's also a training video in case it's not. Okay, so sometimes videos are helpful. So you can watch this video. Okay, we're not going to do that. Okay, so I'm closing that up. All right, so y'all can watch that video if you'd like. That'll help. That might be helpful. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Hawks real quick. Okay. So when you click on that, it takes you right to their learning module. Okay, we're still in Blackboard, but it takes you to the Hawks learning module. Okay, and it'll take you to this view here, which basically this just says all this is due later because the class hasn't started yet. But again, I'm in here as a student. Okay, so I'm going to hit View Course because I think it's easier for me to look at it this way. There we go. So it has things due, when they're due, and so on. Anyway, this first thing is just basics of percent. It's just to give you a quick crash course in how to calculate percent, because that seems to be a big issue that a lot of students have. So it's really a review of some of the math we use. But I want to go through kind of how the Hawks system works. So I'm going to click on one of these. I'm going to click on this one, 2.2. Okay, that means Chapter 2, Section 2. So here's your book. Okay, if you click on the Learn section, this is actually the book. All right, so this is 9 pages of book. You don't necessarily have to read the thing. What I would do if I were you is I would skim it. Okay, here. Now, we're actually going to go over all the important stuff in class. Okay, so really your reading of the book will be as you're doing the assignment. Okay, but I just want to show you the book. Okay, so here, this is the book. Okay, so I will teach you about the production possibilities frontier. I will show you these graphs. We will do graphs together in class. Okay, you know, you can read all this stuff if anything's confusing. All right. Anyway, that's the book part. I'm going to go back for a second. All right. I don't know if I clicked that. There we go. Then there's a practice section, and then there's a certify section. The certify section is actually your homework. Okay, so after every class, there's a homework assignment. All right. The practice is where you can practice before you do the assignment. You can actually do the assignment first if you want. If you think you understood everything from class, you can go do this first. Okay. So we can go ahead and start the assignment. You paid attention in class. You did really good notes. So here I'm going to go ahead and do it. Productive efficiency occurs if the combination of goods or services is indicated by the point, blah, 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 blah. Oh, on the PPF curve. Let's see if I got that right. Whew. Oh my gosh, I did. Okay, that's good. But you know what? Let's say I didn't pay very good attention because I didn't. I'm not a good student. That would be bad. I'm going to do the practice first. Okay. So the practice. Oh look, it actually lets you graph. What this does is I don't understand any of this question. I don't know what's going on. There's a tutor button. Okay. So it helps me step by step understanding what the question is asking. What's going on. In fact, it can take me back to the section of the book that this question is about. Okay, or you know what? I just don't get it. Tell me how to do the problem. So it takes me to the solution. Okay, so this really helps you to understand the lesson. Okay, so that's what the Hawks system is all about. All right, so let's see if I can get out of this and go back to Blackboard. Hope I can. Dun, dun, dun. You know what? I might have to just exit it. Let's see. I'll just do. Oh, there we go. I just did a bunch of back. All right. So that was Hawks. Okay. We'll talk more about that in class, but that's kind of, you can get to it from Blackboard. Okay. Now let's go to course content because you're gonna visit that a lot as well. Okay. So course content has some cool stuff in it as well. All right. Now, most everything you're going to need is in the Hawks content area because it's going to have your tutorials, it's going to have your book, it's going to have your homework. All right. But if there's anything you're just not getting and you want a fresh perspective on it, you can go to this Marginal Revolution University. I like it because it has these videos that are from a whole different perspective. Okay, so it can kind of like teach you stuff from a totally different perspective. Okay, so I'll teach it to you from my perspective. Hawks might look at something from a slightly different perspective, and then maybe a third perspective will be this one. So you can watch a quick little video. These are pretty short, by the way. Look, 3 minutes, okay? So I'll actually spend an entire class on the demand curve, and this is a quick 3-minute video about the demand curve. So it might be helpful to you, okay? So that's Marginal Revolution University. And then there's a dictionary, okay? I'm actually going to ask y'all to look things up in your notes ahead of class. So there's that, all right? So that's Marginal Revolution University. I've also got my own tutorial videos that are really just kind of rehashing what we did in class. Okay, so it's not from a totally different perspective, but they're helpful if you missed class and you want to see what we did in class. So y'all can go to that link if you want. All right, we talked about the syllabus. This is the link to turn in the syllabus assignment. And then I have each of the units. Okay, so there's 6 units that we're going to study. Okay, they're all right here. So, you know, we hit them one at a time. Let's open them up. Okay, I'm going to hand you a notes template. Okay, so I'll go ahead and open this up so you can see what it looks like real quick. But you do not have to print this because I'm going to have it for you first day of class. Okay, minus the summaries because I've learned we don't need the summaries. So what I've got here is basically a skeletal version of the notes. So it allows you to take notes more quickly so we can go quicker in class. Okay, so you'll have this to take notes on in class. All right. So we've got that. I've got our PowerPoints, so you can get all the lecture PowerPoints if you want. So you missed class, you want to get the notes, they're right here. Okay, so click on this. Okay, oh, that's kind of it's a big file, 49 megabytes. Woo. Okay, I'm not going to wait on that. All right, so those are the notes. You want to click on those, and then I've got another link to the tutorials that are directly related to this particular unit. Okay, PPC, supply and demand, okay, equilibrium, price floors and ceilings, those are all pertinent to this particular unit. Okay, so that's course content. I'll probably add things to this depending on what ends up happening this semester. If we need to end up doing anything online, like if you have to turn in some of the quizzes online versus doing them in class, I can add those to the course content section. Anyway, that's kind of your quick tutorial through Blackboard. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay.